What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Late Night Dance Talk Show brought to you by RPProds. Welcome, everybody, to the show today. I'm not sure how many of you all are watching today, but welcome. So, today is the 7th episode already. We are still planning to do this all the way till June 1st, hopefully. And then, you're going to see a lot of crazy guests from the next few weeks onward. So, today my guests are special overseas guests. These guys I met overseas. No, not even overseas. I met them here in Singapore first, and then subsequently met Josh in Perth. And, oh shit! I reviewed one of the guests. Oh fuck. Anyway, they are super important people because without them you don't see all your summer jam stuff, and without this guy you won't even see any RF jam photos. So and then. Other than that, they do a lot of crazy stuff in their home country. So we are gonna get them here, talk shit, share their stuff, and then eat Vegemite. I don't know. Okay, let's welcome our guests from Sonder Films and JNYWKZ. All right, guys, introduce yourself.
Hey!
What's up?
Yo!
All right, Johnny, you can introduce yourself
What's
first.
up?
Alright, hi everyone. Name's Johnny. I go on photography JNY and shooting for this is my 8th year. Yeah.
Oh.
Heck.
Get all of them nice.
Gotta flex the shoes, man. Gotta flex the shoes. All right,
Crazy. What's up, everyone? First of all, thank you, RPP, for having us. My name is Pavan. I'm 25 years old, and I've been filming for about 3.5 years and running Sondr for 2.5 now. Other than that, I don't know. I'm a gangster.
I'm Josh, also part of Sonder, representing the Perth side of things. Thanks RPP for having us. My room is very yellow. Welcome.
Yeah.
Your room is horrible for video set, man.
Hey, take that back.
Yellow, man.
Can we just point out the two videographers have the worst lighting?
Worst lighting.
No,
it's the 3 videographers here have the worst lighting.
Yeah.
The photographer has the best lighting.
So good.
So what's up, boys? How's life in Australia right now?
Been cold, but it's been good.
Yeah, fucking cold.
Oh, definitely getting cold.
But how's dealing with the lockdown in Australia now?
Man, to be honest, Sydney is already kind of moving about already again. Hey, I feel for the most part things are already kind of people going around nowadays kind of thing. You can see a lot of people around, but yeah, for the most part, I think it's kind of easing off.
Yeah, so true. During Mother's Day, oh fuck, there were so many people in line just everywhere. I'm like, what the fuck?
Wow, Johnny has dropped the
So much rage
F-bombs of the show.
That's pretty much back to normal as well. I think we've had things calming down for the past week or so. So now it's everyone's back out and stuff. So I think businesses are starting to open. Not fully open yet, but getting there.
Let's hope everything gets back to normal soon, yeah?
Yeah.
Anyway, before we start the show, shout outs to all 15 of y'all watching, minus me, because I'm watching it myself. Guys, got any questions? Feel free to ask in the chat box, and then oh man, I can't speak, man. Shit.
Shit.
I'll talk like an Aussie, mate.
I should talk like an Aussie. All right, so welcome. So the first category we're gonna do is who eats the best. Just kidding. No Vegemite things.
I was literally so scared then. I was like, you didn't tell us.
Yeah, I was like, what sort of Australians are gonna offend this?
Hey, what's okay? So actually, right, I actually not. How do I phrase it? Actually, I never knew the history behind your brands. I know Sondr is a 2.5 year ish kind of thing, and for your photography it's a bit longer. But what's the history behind and the story behind your careers and your branding? So maybe Sondr can go first.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, and I'm being so honest because I think it's so funny about how it all kind of came about. But for me, I've been a dancer for 8-9 years kind of thing. And when I moved to Sydney, I was slowing down with dance and kind of just started to get into videography and stuff. And I was just doing a couple of videos here for the dance community and trying to create some stuff that was like new and exciting. And like the only reason I started Sondr was like I know I needed to put like a name to something so I could do more of what I was doing that was fun. So like me starting Sondr was just kind of like, how do I do more of this fun video stuff? So I was like, okay, I just need to put a name to it. So basically starting it was just like, I want to do more of this and like have more fun with videos. So it was never like I want to start a business or I'm like I'm trying to be a director or like I wasn't like there wasn't really any goals around it. It was just kind of like, how do I do more of it kind of thing. But I think slowly it kind of grew more into like more of a vision now, like more like of what I want to do. I guess I can explain that more, but now or
Go for it.
yeah, cool. I was like, it's gonna take like a while, but anyway,
Go for it.
for the most part, I guess like now with like Sondr, it's like, I mean, just me as a human being, I've always just tried to be like helpful in terms of like helping people, like service driven. So I think with Sondr, it's like I understand like right now in the world, it's like content is driven, like is the main thing driving like businesses and artists and everything, right? So I just realized like everyone's like afraid of social media and technology and stuff, and I've never been afraid to like dive into anything. So I was just kind of like, okay, this is a medium that everyone seems afraid of and trying to put like, you know, a lot of their lives in and like time and energy and stuff. So it was just kind of like, how can I create stuff to connect with as many people to help businesses and artists and stuff like that. So yeah, just like service driven about trying to help some people with like, I guess, new media stuff. Yeah.
Oh, that's the longest intro we had to.
I know that's why I was just like, should I keep
It's
going?
fine.
Like,
Okay, so does Josh have anything to add?
Yeah. Yeah, essentially, like when Pav invited me to join him on Sonder, it was around the same time where I was already kind of delving into film stuff. Most of my experience was really just like filming my own dance videos, editing them myself, but never really filming. I got like a first camera around the same time Pav happened to be back in Perth to film some music videos. He pretty much hit me up asking if I wanted to help out. And I don't know, for me, I didn't even think too far about like joining the team. It was more so like just helping out one of my close friends with like a fun project that we kind of got to do together. So yeah, it started with like that. And then I guess more and more of doing that, then he brought me onto the team. And then that's pretty much just that.
Nice. So what about you, Johnny? What about you?
So if we're talking about like the dancing, I was actually an outsider, so I never started in dance. I didn't like as much as I enjoyed watching. I didn't dance myself. I actually started off wanting to pursue graphic design, but after finishing a course in digital media, I ended up working for a photography studio equipment store. I didn't really like photography back then, to be honest. I actually quite hated it during uni. Yeah, I remember doing this. I was just like, fuck, I fucking hate this. I actually hated the exposure triangle as well back then, which is surprising now.
Good.
But after working, obviously I started working there. I had to relearn how to use a camera. Kind of fell in love with it. And then in terms of, let's say, the dance side of things, I actually got invited. My ex's friend was running an event in Sydney, and she invited us just to watch. And she was like, oh yeah, you know, Johnny's getting into his cameras and stuff. Why don't you bring the camera along, shoot it? I was like, okay, yeah, you know, bring along. Seems pretty fun. And then I think I don't know if you guys had in Singapore. Did you guys have R16?
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had one of 2013. Yeah, just randomly went to Darling Harbour to shoot it, and like I had so much fun. I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna find every single like breaking event in Sydney. After that, just went as a random. Didn't know anybody. Just started shooting. They're just like, what the fuck is this guy with the camera? Like literally, I knew nobody. I knew no one. And then after the first year, got my first gig, and then kind of just went from there.
Nice. But then the shooting was before dance or was it after dance?
Shoes I was always into, but like not in terms of taking photos for shoes.
Mhm.
That was probably actually I first started taking photos of handbags. Yeah, so like your Chanel, your Gucci, your Prada. Very different life. Very different life.
It's like flexing on my ages, but here's my Coach handbag.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, so I worked for a Singaporean company, Ribbons.
Okay.
Oh, damn.
I don't think you guys would have heard it, but maybe some of the girls, maybe
Sam was just like,
maybe your girlfriend. Yeah.
So good.
But yeah, shoes wise, probably only started shooting it maybe 5 years ago.
So it was kind of like a dance thing that sort of transitioned into shoes ish kind of thing.
Yeah, like shoes is because like I had so many. I was like, oh, why not shoot it anyway? Because like I kind of fell into product photography and kind of fell in love with product photography essentially. And it's like, oh, got all these shoes, might as well take photos of it.
This
So good.
interesting. What so good. Mr. Handbag Johnny, yeah. Wow.
Very different life. Very different life.
many comments. Who's the second hottie from the left? Who knew Nike made handbags? Kevin
I'm
is
still trying to see who's on the left. Is it
Kevin.
me?
Nah, it's Johnny. It's probably
Oh,
Johnny.
damn.
It's not you, Kevin. Josh and Sam, you're definitely out.
I was like, I'm on the left, right? No.
Nah, out.
Oh God.
Kevin and Josh, can I have your signature by Hamley Cross Hitter?
Oh, I love it.
Nice. Actually, right now come to think of it, right? Like, how do you guys like know as a content creator? I mean, we all always like to talk about it, but when do you know like this content is relevant to you guys? Like, I mean, usually as a production house, you got to work with agencies and stuff, and then you send some proposals and shit, or creating certain like pre-productions or like storyboard. But during the process of creating, how do you know whether the stuff is relevant to the audience that you're trying to sell it to? Especially for like your
Client, like,
yeah, for your clients, yeah.
I feel like you just have to reverse engineer like the client, like you mean like what they're after at the end of the day and like what their goals are. Because like if I guess the client is like super, like legacy driven instead of like like I need to sell this product with this thing, then it's like you're gonna attack it differently in terms of who's relevant, right? Because at the end of the day, legacy is like a bit longer. If you're trying to sell something like as in like a one-time promotion, then it's probably try to hit as many people that's gonna fit that kind of criteria. So I feel like it's just reverse engineering like the whole brand itself, and then like what the purpose of them even hiring us is. Like if they're trying to do something like specific, I'd say. Yeah.
What about you, Johnny?
Like,
Since like it's okay, sorry, Josh, you can add on first, yeah. Go for it.
yeah, I was gonna say, I guess like just to add on, yeah, it's really just about asking more and more questions and helping the client also clarify what it is they actually want versus maybe what it is they first proposed in the first place.
Yeah.
I guess
100%.
sometimes both me and Pavan as well, I guess when we've talked to clients, most of the time when they come with something initially, sometimes it's always based off something they've seen, which might not necessarily equate to the most efficient way or the best way to achieve what they actually want. Yeah, so I guess it's really just about clarifying both sides of what we can give / also what they want.
Yeah, pretty much like
Johnny?
what Josh said. So like they would already know what they sort of want, and then they're hiring us because we have a specific style or are able to produce a certain caliber of quality. So then we then reinterpret it, and then we're like, okay, if this is okay with you, let's go ahead and we'll reproduce it in this kind of manner.
So on that note, right, like for example, like there's dance content and then there's like non-dance content, right? So do you have a different approach to both things, or do you guys use a similar approach to deal with dance content and like non-dance content?
For me, it's very different, I'd say. Like for the dance side, usually I'm hired for like dance events. So normally it's because I've done, like shot so many. It's just like, all right, I know I need to get obviously it's like winner shot. You need to get all the action shots. You need to get crowd shot. like everything, like it's all running through my head in terms of what photos you need, essentially like a list of all the images that you 100% need to nail. If you don't nail these images, pretty much you're not going to get hired again. But if you're in terms of, let's say, doing more of like a fashion shoot, I guess it's more, they have, I guess there's more room to play around with in terms of being creative and being able to lead the direction of how the shot looks. And in terms of like angles and stuff like that, for the dance side, at least for me, because I've done it so much, it's like, all right, I know that I'm going to shoot in this particular style, and you've hired me for this very specific purpose. So I usually don't like switch it up too much. That's for me personally, anyway.
What about for you guys? I know you guys shot like some overseas stuff and some like local Australian stuff, and plus you have also shot in Singapore. So how has Sondr like adapted accordingly to like the different countries and like the different clients and like for like the dance and non-dance stuff?
I don't know, Josh, you want to take it or?
Yeah, I guess just to answer like one of the questions, if it was the difference between dance stuff and let's say other stuff, right? I think for me, if I'm comparing, let's say like a business or even like, let's say like a music artist to a dancer, the big difference I kind of find is that when it comes to a business or when it comes to a music artist, they usually have more of like a clear cut thing that they're trying to like market, whether it be like a product or like a song or something that they're trying to get out. And most of the time with dancers, it's like pure creative. It's usually like them themselves, even if it's like, let's say they're having just fun making like a video, or maybe they are trying to like market themselves as like a professional dancer teacher sort of thing. It's very like open to interpretation. So I guess when it comes to working with dance things, there's no real structure, and a lot of it it's more on them as like kind of what they want to show, what they want to do, versus I guess like with music videos or even with like businesses, whether it be like a store or a product, it's at least like it's a bit more structured in that sense. Not to say it's like a bad thing, but it's just yeah, I guess things to think about.
Yeah, I think he like kind of really said it. I think it's just like with dancers, it's either like creativity or like marketing yourselves, whereas in like pretty much all other things, like I feel like it's slightly more of a criteria of like we're trying to get this specific thing, whether it's a product or like, again, like I said, like selling this program or like this, again, music video, like we need to, you know, create stuff for this. It's like more specific, I would say. But I mean, like some dance areas, like even Summer Jam and stuff, like they do have specific things that we need to like get. But
yeah,
I guess for the most part, it's pretty open ended in terms of just like creativity. Like it's just like, yeah.
But actually, right, on that note, right, have you, when you work with, how do I put it out like that? Like from experience with working with so many different kind of dancers, right? This is more dancer specific. Have you guys been mainly the people taking charge of like how you guys want it to look, or have most dancers been like the one that's telling you what they want in the video? Because that part is very tricky in Singapore. Because in Singapore, a lot of times when they ask us, "Hey, film a video," they just let us do anything we want.
Yeah, I think like, yeah, from the start, like when I first started like filming, I was like, oh, people would come to me and tell me what they want. But it's like, oh no, they're just like, hey, like we want you to film, and it's like, and come up with the ideas and find the location. Like, yeah, I think for the most part, it depends on certain like dancers. I think some dancers, I guess, take the initiative to like kind of plan some things out and just like, hey, I want this, I want that. But I guess at the end of the day, like they're looking for our like expertise, I guess, to kind of like, you know, try to make it look as good as we can. But I don't know. I feel like for the most part, I think like even what you're saying, Sam, I think it's like here as well, and I'm sure it's like in Perth. For the most part, they just kind of like rely on us to like do a lot of the like work in terms of like bring it out, which I want to say to all dancers is like, you guys should try and take some initiative just to like do some stuff for real. Like, shots fired. Like honestly, like I'm just saying it out of like again, service driven. It's like if you're coming to us and you're paying us, it's like if you come to us with like an idea or like, you know, specifics, we can make it like 10 times better. But if you come to us with like really not much, we're just going to have to do the best with like not much. And it's like, at the end of the day, if you're spending money, like, again, as if a business hired us and they were just like, hey, film a video, and they expected us to do everything, it's not going to be as great as if they're like, hey, we want this, this, and this to be shown. This is what we want out of it. We're going to make it better. So it's like, it's the same thing. It's like, you give us this amount and then we're going to give you like 10 times back, you know? Yeah. Shots fired. But
Shots fired.
That's 100% though. Like, for me, if I don't get given a brief, and if it's really open-ended, I'm like, oh shit, what do I really want to do with this? Sometimes you get like caught up in too much. Like, oh, I can go this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, but I can only do one thing out of it. If that makes sense.
Mm.
No,
You have
absolutely.
like 20 ideas. It's like too, like for me, for sometimes it's like too much, and then I start dulling it down way too much.
Yeah, I agree. Like me, like no offense to my Singaporean dancers, but like I can really count like the choreographers that actually know what they are doing. Like they kind of like, oh, I want to film this, but this is like my visual, how I want to do this, how I want to like picture it, so like we can improve on it. But too many of our dancers just go like, oh, we want to film, then like, okay, then we're like,
yeah.
yeah. But we have been trying to push like the Singaporean dancers to like take a more like creative approach, try and be directors rather than just be a dancer. That's what we've been trying to do.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I think like you should just have the conversation with them, and that's why I try to do. If anyone like comes up to me, it's just like, if you put in the effort to like, you know, learn about, you know, film and be like, hey, I want this specific thing or this specific shot. Like if they learn like, you know, names of like certain things, or like, again, invest in like learning about film, their film is going to be better. But if you just come up to someone and just go, hey, like, I want you to film, and you don't know anything about film and you don't know anything about any shot or like any idea, it's like, you know, like, you're not, it's like I guess like if you go to like a mechanic or something, if you don't know anything about like a car, they're probably going to like, you know, just do whatever to the car, and you're just like not going to know. But if you actually have some level of understanding, you can actually know if they're ripping you off, or like, you know, what they should fix and what they shouldn't, or like, you know, cheaper prices or something. And it's like, just be more informed. I think that's the most important. Like, just, yeah.
Yeah, I guess the biggest thing is, I'd say like initiative. Like even for me, I guess coming from literally like that background of being a dancer, hiring out a videographer, for me, I think maybe because I already had an inclination into video stuff, even if I didn't really know what I was doing, I would just try, edit it myself, research like what Pat said, like let's say terminology, and at least try to communicate that to them. And I guess doing that more and more helped me, you know, realize what worked, what didn't. And now being on like the videographer side of things, it's really interesting to see like the receiving end of that. Really, like obviously it varies. You know, you have some people that come up to you and they're like, "Hey, I want to film a video." And you're like, "Okay, cool. Like, what sort of location? What do you want?" And they're like, "I don't know." And then you're like, "Well, fuck."
It happens too many times, right? Like they just had a very nice choreography, but like it just ends there. Like there's no like other layers to it, you know.
Yeah. And then obviously, you know, you have ones that like storyboard, plan it all out. But I guess the big thing why I would say initiative is important as well is because like if you as a dancer put so much effort into like not just the dance but also the video part of it, like then the end product is going to be something that's so much more worthwhile and more personal, rather than like really just a transaction and like getting someone to
it's like outsourcing it.
Yeah, because then like the things that you're getting from it really is like knowledge and like, you know, for the next project or blah blah, so and so, rather than just like here's my money, help me film this, I don't know how.
Yeah.
So what about Johnny though? But like in this case, like has there been any differences working with like dancers and like non-dancers for your case? Like is there any difference when you do all your like fashion shoots and stuff?
Like for fashion side, at least for like the dancer, if I'm shooting a dancer for fashion purposes, usually it's been okay. Like, well, luckily with the ones I've been able to work with, they've have more clearer vision. I guess it's when it comes down to more of the actual dancer style photos. Actually, I rely more on them than they rely more on me, because I mean, obviously they know their body best, so they know what kind of poses they're most comfortable with, and I guess we'll build based we'll build up from that. So they might try one pose, and I'll be like, okay, can you try extending this arm this way, or I don't know, like maybe doing the pose the other way, and then if we can, if they can,
Like this? Like this.
Well, yeah, it's essentially like we're just like working together. Yeah. Yeah, I lost my words.
That's so true, though. I think for like photography side, it's like, I don't know, like you actually rely on the dancer because like they know how to,
Yeah.
like move their body or
But-
pose and
Yeah, and it's one
character.
frame versus your, I don't know how. Obviously, in a video, there's gonna be like zillion frames.
But actually, right, on that note, right, how do you push your dancers to bring out the maximum for the dancers? Maybe this is for photographers out there. Like, how do you like bring out the maximum of your dancers so that like, you get like the really nice shots?
So I mean, like say, let's bring it down to breakers, for example. Usually, it's based on a freeze as opposed to. I mean, sometimes it's a power move, but usually it's a freeze. Get them to do it once, show them, and like, okay, I think maybe like slightly extend a bit more. They do it again and again. It's like usually like 2-3 after 2-3 times, pretty good. Pretty much gets the shot. As long as you're like, for me, I feel like as long as you're comfortable with them, you're showing them at the same time, making them feel comfortable, then it's okay. If you make them feel very awkward about it, then that's when things kind of don't work out so well.
So it happened to you before?
Yes, because I'm a very shy guy. So when I first started shooting, very awkward.
Okay. Let's not put you on the spot, but I'm gonna ask you a hard one. But like, what is the hardest genre have you ever shot in? What do you think is the hardest genre to shoot? Photos, or maybe after that you can say for video as well. But like for photos, what's the hardest genre?
I actually still think fashion.
Fashion.
Yeah, because fashion's as broad as it is. I think, like, especially when you go into the higher end fashion side of things, I still haven't tackled a lot of it. So I'm still a lot to learn. But some of it's like so hard to visualize everything, especially when it's only one frame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, it's just sometimes it's just very hard, especially if you're not working with a good model. Not gonna lie.
So somebody has asked, like 10 variety show has asked, tell us your awkward story, Johnny. So continue on with the awkward story. Hey, Johnny, let's go. What's that? So explain to us how awkward was it?
Oh man, I don't want to put anyone to shame right now. So.
All right, we'll leave it. But actually, when I meant genre, I actually meant genre of dance. But like, were there any dance genres that's really hard for you to shoot? Like, what's the hardest one for you? Popping.
Popping is actually, like, for me, is very hard. I mean, I know it's based on the count, as in the, like, dun dun ka, whatever, right? And you obviously hit the beat. So at that point, you should be snapping that photo. But for me, I think with poppers, at least, especially with like the beginner side, they don't have big angles. So they're very just like, I don't know.
Wow.
Okay, that's a bridge shot.
What about if
but
it's
like if you if I'm gonna, like, this is like big props to like someone like Jack or Jiggy Jaya, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're very expressive. They got like a lot of movement in there. So like for me to get photos of them is really easy. But it's someone who's, not to say inanimate, but very, not sure what the word is. But they don't like move their legs at the same time as they move their body and stuff. So sometimes what is captured is not as nice.
So what about Sondr? What's the hardest dance genre of videos on dance genre?
Man, I feel like they all just have their own like challenges, but getting shots fired or like, I don't know, that's not that bad. But like, I feel like it's just like who didn't ask, like, like, again, like, who didn't put any effort into like the pre-production. They're just like, hey, film line. That's always just the hardest, Like, it could be any genre, but I feel like if they're just like, hey, film something, and then they like rock up and kind of, I don't know, like, you know, like they don't have it down packed or something, then it's like that's hard. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they all have their challenges though.
I think dance genres of film is a bit more flexible. Like they all kind of has its own challenges to work with. But all in all, yeah, kind of what Pat said. Like it just comes down to overall video. Like if it's specific shots, like you can kind of make anything work. If it comes together or if it doesn't come together, it's kind of on the planning.
I'll go out on a limb and say the hardest genre to film is K-pop dance videos.
I haven't done that.
I haven't tried that. So.
I'm sorry, Carissa. I know you're watching, but K-pop is the hardest. No, I feel like K-pop videos is like sometimes when I film for other people, there's the levels are too different. Like some of them are like very good, some of them are just like not practiced enough.
Yeah.
And then when you film it, it's just awkward, you know.
Yeah.
And then K-pop, you gotta have that aura, but like most of them are like zero aura. It's like
attitude, right?
Yeah,
I was gonna ask like why if it was the hardest because like you know all the K-pop videos are like $100,000 budgets, and then we have
and also that as well. You gotta go to that level, you know. Like even some of the top like very good cover videos, they have like a few million views. Like you see their locations and shit. It's like,
hey, can you film a K-pop video? It's like, yeah, like
you got money?
You got money? You got money? Give me some money, then we go inside a studio and go get a techno crane and then like
exactly.
Okay, I'm sorry, Carissa. Okay, I apologize. Okay, I apologize.
Good.
Yeah, but actually, I think before we get onto our favorite work segment, I think Richard has to restart the program. So I'm gonna collect some questions from the audience while edit. So if you guys
gotten shorter.
Hey, I'm not back.
But I'm not Josh. Hey?
Almost back.
Hi, I'm Josh.
Hi, something wrong.
All right, and Richard mutes. All right, and we are back. Welcome. There were two Sams for a while, and Pevin turned to some weird yellow Asian for a while. But yeah, now we are on to this like really special segment. Like we're gonna get them to really talk about their work because they've been doing a lot of very crazy work very recently. So we're gonna let them talk. We're gonna pick their brains a bit. And then if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask so that there won't be music played. So go and watch the original video from their channels or whatnot. But ask away and then they will be able to answer it. So what's the first one are you going to open? We're going to open a VLC media player. Oh, so this is the one. So what video is this actually?
So this is like probably like one of the first music videos I ever did. I think it's probably like maybe second or third. Something
I
like
remember
that.
this. I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is when I went back to Perth. So shout out to the artist Ian.
I see Josh Lee.
But yeah, Josh came through and helped. So when I went back to Perth, I just asked Josh, hey, I got these like projects. Yeah, like do you want to help? Pretty much because he was getting into film. So pretty much this was one of the first music video projects that like we worked on, and I try to put like a lot of effort in terms of the like location, set design, all this kind of stuff. And yeah, Josh came through and helped. He pretty much like assisted and kind of helped direct a little bit as well. And yeah, I don't know, I think it was just like a crazy I guess start to like even working with someone, because before I was pretty much shooting everything all myself, and this was like a chance of like working with someone. And I think just watching Josh being so like what's the word, just like open to everything, like hey, can you do this or can you grab this, he was just like yes, like he never like said no. And like we shot till pretty late as well, so and he was just like onto it. So I think yeah, it was just a good experience. But this is like, yeah, one of the first videos we've ever done, so it's kind of crazy. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
talk
think-
me through about the frame. Oh yeah, okay, Josh, go for it first.
I was gonna say, I think the thing I really love about this video is like, well, Pav obviously did all the pre-planning and stuff like that, but pretty much when we got to location, we had to do a lot of like shifting around and kind of setting up each room, which yeah, like shout out to Nadia and like the team and stuff like that for helping out. But pretty much even before we got to location, like with the lamps on the floor and stuff like that, Pav would kind of have like an idea, and then he'd like pretty much like, oh, can you make them flicker and stuff like that? And then me, like not really knowing anything, kind of did my own research, had to like DIY kind of make it. And like for me, that's like such a fun process, which had nothing to do with like the actual filming part of it, but just kind of helping to build the set together and like do all of that. I feel like added a lot.
Flicker.
Yeah.
So how do you make that light flicker?
So pretty much you have to get like I forgot what it's called now, but it's like an electronic part that it springs the contact like open and like onto it. So when you connect it to the lamp, it adjusts how fast. It makes it have current and then like takes it away. And then if you have different watts of the bulbs, they change how fast they flicker and like the color and things like that. So yeah, pretty much just experimenting with that.
So clearly, Josh is also an electrical engineer now.
So good.
If you
But
want
okay.
Electricity.
bulbs, yeah.
But maybe Richard, can you pause like where the main living room area, like the main living room area? Let's see. Oh yeah, so yeah, and yeah, just maybe this. So maybe talk through like designing the set design for this. Like, so what was the motivation behind this set design?
So I think like for the most part, again, so like I haven't done any like music videos, so this was like even just kind of like trying to build a set, trying different effects and stuff. But the main effect that I wanted to go for throughout the video was like a faster speed in terms of like movement. So we actually slowed down the song to like 50%. So the artist had to like rap it like in slow-mo kind of thing, so that when we would speed it up, it would be like double time. So that's why his movements are like pretty energetic and like high pace. So it was basically that sort of idea in terms of like with the movement. And I think the whole idea was kind of like him stuck in this house, which has that eerie like feeling. And it's just kind of like, I guess like a mental asylum type vibe of just kind of like stuck in his house, like going through his thoughts and just kind of like that dark, eerie sort of feeling. And yeah, in terms of the like set design, it was just, we like rented this like house, which is like super old school, and it was just like perfect for it. Like like all the like, what do you call it? Paintings on the wall were just like actually there. Like those are the ones that were just like there. So that was lucky. And in terms of like all the paper on the floor and stuff, and it was just kind of like, I guess if you see like, you know, like I guess like what do you call it? Like a serial killer or something. Like they would have all these like crazy stuff around and like that sort of like mental type vibe. Yeah, it was just kind of building that kind of space of like who, like a serial type killer type vibe would like live here or something. Yeah.
Okay, now this is extremely relevant because everybody is like locked up.
yeah, this is literally like what it is. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah,
You're
let's
just
go.
like on it.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Oh, yo, let's watch the second video now. So talk us through this video.
So pretty much like when Pav got to Perth, he got the opportunity to do 2 videos for Ian, and one of them, the previous one, he directed, and then this one he pretty much gave me all control to direct. I've never directed a video at this point, so yeah, it was like a super daunting task.
Sorry, real quick, Josh.
Oh, yeah.
Real quick, I want to remember. Did I like shoot this and then you just directed it? Like, was that what happened, or did you shoot it as well?
No, I think you shot like you pretty much shot like 90% of it, and then I edited it like half and then directed it.
Yeah, hectic.
Yeah. This was kind of like just this an idea I wanted to try out. Interesting actually, because I think after doing the music video, or even looking back, like maybe after a couple months, like comparing this to like the previous video or even other videos, I guess like I wasn't super happy with it. But then I guess now with the perspective that like, you know, it is my first video, it's like I haven't filmed really. Even back then I didn't really know how to film. I just kind of directed. yeah, really was just trying out ideas and not judging myself too hard.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. So actually, right, while the video is being played, actually, there's a question by Brian who actually asked about dancer blocking. Actually, this might be relevant in photography as well. So like, so when you shoot, right, like the choreography and the camera, because choreography is 3D, and then when you're translating it into a video or like a photo, it's like 2D. So how do you like actually like adjust accordingly to play with the choreography blocking? You get what I mean?
Johnny, you wanna go first? Or?
You guys go first. You guys go first.
I haven't left.
What?
What?
I guess like for me, the first thing is really just about creating depth. So let's say like if your dancer formation is just 2 lines, you kind of want to do your formation / also film in a way.
Yo, I know this location. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. That's right. You kind of want to like film or do the formations in a way that it's either like on 45 or something that makes things look longer, look higher rather than very, very 2D.
Yeah, just to add to that, I think adding depth and adding like you've got like essentially like your foreground, your midground, your background adds to all that and adds more interest to the overall framing. Because if you have it all just like singular line, I mean sometimes it might look nice, but if you create like different height or like as Josh said, the 45 degrees, at least it covers like a lot more angles and depth. And if you play around with the background, especially with that, like for example, if you're, I don't know, shooting in a tunnel, let's say, and you have that 45 degrees, you have a lot more depth going through the tunnel, and then you also have it through your people and your block as well.
Nice. So now, how much was the production cost here? If you guys don't mind revealing, like for the first and the second video, how much did it cost for you to produce these videos?
So honestly, like this was like when we just started, and like we haven't shot any music videos like ever, right? So something I would say like for everyone as well. So like these videos were like technically like we got paid like 400 each, as in for like each music video. And I think the artist put in money in terms of what do you call it, like hiring out the
location
and
and the stuff.
Like,
Yeah.
like that. So
How much did it cost in total?
I'm pretty sure it would have been around like 800 each, 700, 800 each video. So, but we were just starting, so we were just kind of like, I'm gonna take whatever we can just to start. And I was like, I think like when you're starting anything, it's like do as much as you can, prove to yourself that you can actually do something, and then once you have the confidence to do something, then you can actually charge. So like for me, those were important. That like why we wanted to show it as well. It's like both mine and Josh's starting point. Like you can see even in both videos, we have very different like styles that we were like taking up. But yeah, I feel like it was like decently like cheap, I guess. But like it was just kind of like the start of like what we need to get it happening,
Nice. Actually, fun fact, like like the whole technique, the whole technique with like the whole slow, like playing the music slow and then you fast forward it, that kind of thing. That technique is a very old Hong Kong technique. It's super dope. Like
oh really?
Yeah, it's a very old Hong Kong technique. Yeah, so they used to do that for a lot of music videos in Hong Kong.
Yeah. I have, that's crazy.
Yo, Sam, I was gonna say, can I talk about the previous one just like a tiny? You don't need to show it, but I just want to say like.
Go ahead.
I guess I was saying like so I guess the only experience I had before that was like from doing dance videos sort of thing, right? So when I was trying to translate to Pav like what I was directing, it was like pure story, zero technical knowledge, right? And I think a good thing that I learned from that shoot is, or something Pav taught me as well, is like thinking in terms of visuals rather purely than story. So what I mean by that is like, let's say if people are trying to do a dance film or like a concept video, they think very chronologically in terms of like, oh, this happens and then this happens and then this happens, and then it's like, okay, it'll just cut and cut and cut, And then sometimes when you operate like that, and when you bring it into your edit and you look at it, you're like, oh, it's like, just because you thought about it like that way initially, and when you see it now, cut, it's like not as nice as it could be. So even looking at things in purely a visual way, even if it's not directly adding into your story, like let's say with the Phantom video, right, the first one, like a lot of the things with B-roll, like if we find like paper on the floor or the TV, like just get B-roll of everything and kind of add all these extra elements to it along with the story, I think helps a lot in terms of creating a more like cohesive film.
Nice. Wow, this video is dropping a lot of knowledge. Okay, knowledge. No
But
F bombs,
honestly,
only
Me and
knowledge.
Josh, we didn't know anything when we filmed those two.
Yeah, I know. Fuck all.
Anything. I still don't know. Like,
You guys are pulling shit out of your ass. I'm just kidding.
for real. That's not even a joke. For real.
Wait. Hey, Sam, I know you're the host, but can I ask them a question?
Hey,
Well, I guess this also applies
the
to
video
you.
is playing. Yeah, go.
Yeah. Actually, I guess this was like some of the audience might also want to know. Like, did you guys ever have any formal training prior to doing any kind of work like this? And in terms of formal, I mean like going to uni or TAFE or whatever to learn videography or like design and stuff like that.
Nope.
So it's kind of funny, like in terms of me starting to even pick up a camera, it was shout out to like one of my best friends, Sean Liao. So he started taking photos of shoes like for Instagram like years ago. And it was just like dope photos of shoes, and like I didn't want to take photos of shoes, but it like inspired me to just start taking photos. Yeah, so from there I just started taking photos, and then I was like, oh, this is fun. And pretty much just like every day I used to just wake up, take photos, and just kind of keep learning about it. So I've just been learning off YouTube and just kind of, yeah, like YouTube's the best teacher nowadays, as like most people know. So yeah, I guess no like formal training background sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay, Josh, before you continue, right? Some guy actually asked, how do you like that metal statue thing? Is CGI or is it like a lighted up thing? That red.
That's the one that rated.
That's actually like animation. So with that kind of stuff, yeah, it was just one of my friends, Ray Elemento, who did the animation for it. Yeah, so that was just all, I guess, like post-production sort of, yeah, CGI type stuff, yeah.
Nice.
But he did it super nicely. I reckon the lighting in that, like, yeah, it's insane.
It looks really good.
Okay, Josh, go back to you. Let's back to what answer Johnny.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for me, my first camera experience was really just like looking over my friend's shoulder when he was filming like my dance videos and just asking him a ton of questions like, what does this do? What does this do? What does this do? Sort of thing. And then my first on-hand camera experience was I got like an old, what's it called? Like an old old Sony camera off my dad, and just taking photos with it when I was on holiday in Malaysia. And yeah, I guess really just like taking photos, going on YouTube, and like how to edit photos on Lightroom or like how to edit videos on Premiere Pro, and just trying it out really. And then I think not being afraid to like just post stuff up without like an outcome in mind, or even not posting stuff up, just really just like creating things without a specific like, I want this to hit a certain amount of likes, or I want this to be for this reason. And just like the more you create and the more you practice, like it just gets to a point where you have a certain amount of knowledge that is worth helping out other people for, I guess.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, nice. So am I supposed to answer you, Johnny?
Yes. I'm the host.
I've taken control of this.
I am the host.
Oh man, you're becoming the host now. So actually, like for me, it's like I broke my shoulder from dancing. So like I had to find something to do. So Richard, shout outs to Richard and Ming Hui, Mohobos, they were like, hey, go get a camera lah. So I got myself a camera and I started shooting. And from the start, it was always just for fun. Like because I broke my shoulder, I can't really do anything, right? So I just took photos. I think the first ever video event kind of thing I ever shot was like 2015 RF Jam, if I remember correctly. I think 2015, or was it 2014? I either one of them. Then I still didn't take it seriously until Psych approached me to shoot like Ibuki's battle workshop for Whack It Out. And that was when it all started, yeah. That was when I first shot like my first proper like music video, dance video with Ibuki, and from there it just took off. I was like, because from there, like I was in university back then already, but then like I skipped my math exam just to go shoot that video. So when that happened, I knew fuck university and I quit. So right after the examination, I quit university.
Dude, that's mad.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Dude,
badass.
so Sam, just saying for anyone out there who wants to start a new hobby, just fucking
Go balls in. That's all. That's it. All in.
Yeah, I'm really thankful for the people along the way, like especially Richard Mohobos and Melissa, like Melissa Lim Chin Ling. Like these three of them convinced me to get a camera, and then from there it just went off. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, there's one question for all three of y'all. So actually, before you guys shoot anything, do you guys actually storyboard?
To be honest, like, yeah.
That's Zaiha's question, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, this is like a funny question. So like, again, like being totally honest, like I still don't know too much about film. Like in terms of like learning stuff, like we're still honestly on the biggest path of like learning. Like we've only been doing this for like 3 years, kind of thing. So like I barely even know how to export the video like the best. I'm like learning, but like honestly, like we're like all trying to learn how to like do certain things now. So with like storyboarding, like I don't know if that's how people normally do it, but to be honest, like I've never storyboarded ever. But I do have my version of like how I process like what comes where. But that's just like for music videos, I just have certain timestamps to like certain feelings in the song, and like okay, this needs to change this feeling, and this needs to have this scene, or this needs to switch up the scene to get this feeling, and like I kind of like storyboard in that sense of just kind of like timestamps, but I've never like really storyboarded properly. Yeah.
So what about like Johnny? Johnny, what about you?
I mean, not really storyboarding at that point, but I guess having a shot list would be similar, and it depends on the shoot. Like if it's and also depends on the client, I guess. Like for mostly for fashion stuff, usually I'll have like a set amount of shots required and specific poses that like because this model is they know how to like pose really well in this certain manner. So we'll make sure like okay, this needs to get done in this manner, and this outfit needs to be shot like this. This shot outfit needs to be shot like this, and then once these are done, we can do other stuff and be creative in other ways. So it's like yes-ish, I guess.
So what about you, Josh?
Yeah, kind of similar to Path. Like I don't really storyboard in that like traditional sense, but I guess what really helps is if you know that the, let's say, video, right, that you're trying to do is based on music, which if it's for dance, it's gonna be based on music. Music video will be based on music. What I usually do is just listen to the song first and kind of like what Pat said, section it off to be like, okay, let's say like a certain section in the song changes feeling, and I picture a certain thing to be in that. I just try to make like a shot list in terms of like whether it be location or angle or whatever, and then kind of just have it bare bones like throughout the song. And then usually when I come into the edit and post is when I kind of really go in on like, if I'm playing it and I hear like a certain thing, I don't know, it usually just comes to my head, like I'll picture something and then try it out. But I never pre-plan things to the point of like that it has to be followed 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Mainly for me,
I think we keep it pretty open in terms of like freedom of like just changing it up. But I think for the most part we do plan again, because at the end of the day it's like you got to go in with some sort of plan. I think we just don't do the traditional storyboard, I would say. Like we still definitely plan like a lot in terms of like we want the piggyback on that kind of like comment. So like if you go back to the other video, the one with the red and stuff, for that I had very specific what do you call it, like scenes that I wanted. So at the end of the day, like I said, like I like for everyone who's like doing film, like I don't want to push the idea of like go in and just have like be free to just do whatever, because like this video I was very specific about what shots I wanted and I knew exactly the shots I wanted. So in terms of storyboarding, I like wrote the scenes down in terms of, okay, this timestamp I want to introduce this scene which has again the guy in the middle with a red background. I like would write specific things, so I knew the shots I wanted. So I think like don't not plan and don't do like no storyboards and just go in. Like I still put a lot of effort in terms of like getting the right shots that I want, but it's just not again traditionally like having the pictures there and hey, this is this scene, this is that scene. It's just kind of like a different version, but it's still well thought out, because I think to get the like product you want, you need to put in time and effort to like really be specific, you know. Yeah, just had to clarify, just in case everyone's like, oh, like they just go in and shoot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as a last back to his one, like if you the second video we did for Ian, like the way I thought was very like storyboard, right? As in, I wrote down like what cuts to what movement, blah blah blah, and then in saying that, like because it didn't work out exactly the way I planned. Essentially, I think the way Pav and I work is you storyboard and you obviously get those base shots, but also be open and be free to like improvise on the spot and kind of change up like what works on the day, and don't be so like tight on like your planning.
Yeah.
Nice. Actually, let's talk more about the ASAP video, since that shit's like one of your late old 2015 MacBook Pro, like 16-inch, and then he just used nothing but the trackpad and like playing with the piano, like da 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 da, and he just finished editing like what S24 and like RF Jam in like the matter of like 1 day, 2 days, bam, finished.
It's
we need the Ultra one. What the fuck, man? He's so fast.
Yeah,
oh my god!
If there's a chance for you to meet Aya, right, you gotta see him edit, man.
Yeah. Like when it's in the game, you expect to get the free throw, and I feel like that's the same with this. It's like I've been practicing, so like
gonna probably try to solve this. Hold on a moment. The music, no video. No. Wait. Let's wait Richard to solve it. Yeah.
Wait, so
the visuals.
Wow.
We played it so much. What the heck?
That sucks.
Wow. That's
fucking
insane.
ASAP folk.
I'm sorry.
Having your work is too high caliber.
Yeah, man.
Too high caliber. Oh no. Okay, just go back to the main 4 screen. Just go to Johnny's visuals, yeah. Yeah, it's not. We gotta start a new stream, I think.